Every single person in this world has a story to share. Your story is your superpower, and it's unique to you. In sharing it with the world, you can impact millions of people. If you keep it to yourself, you are doing the world a disservice. This is Dela. I'm the host of Dela's Voice, and I help you share your superpower with the world.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Dela's Voice Sunday Live Talk Show. Once again, I will start this episode by paying my gratitude for every single blessing in my life and for this platform where I can live my dream of bringing you inspiration, motivation, information, and at the end, hoping to spark your soul for change, wellness, and recovery. This week, as always, I have a fantastic speaker on the show who's going to share his experience with you, his life journey to where he comes from, how he started, the challenges he went through, to where he is today, and how he's living his passion and impacting the world every single day. My guest today is Dr. Alireza Sharifi. A little bit about Dr. Sharifi. He is a certified master class trainer. He obtained his doctorate degree in the field of work psychology. He's an official trainer of neuro-linguistic programming, timeline therapy, hypnotherapy, and also NLP coaching. He is the author of Leadership in Dynamic Organization and has also co-authored in two different chapters in the books Canadian Success and Healing. And we'll get more information on how you can get your hands on those fantastic books. But Alireza is here today to share his story, his knowledge. So I want to ask you to please share this talk with other people if you find it helpful, inspirational, because I bet you someone else needs to hear this message. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the dear Dr. Alireza Sharifi on Dela's Voice. Hello and welcome.
Hi, Dela. Great to be here again. Thank you. Thank you for...
We meet again.
Yes, we did.
It's wonderful to have you here today. Thank you so much for making the time.
My pleasure.
And I wanted to also note, we noted just before the show, we coordinated colors just for our viewers.
Yes.
That's how we do it.
That's our superpower.
Yes, that's it. Thank you so much for being here today.
My
it's always
pleasure.
A pleasure to speak to you.
Thank
I want
you.
to put up the banner for the show, Being the Change. And so many of us talk about change. And we want this to change and that to change and the world to change and the people around us to change. I know I was one of those people who was always expecting other people to change until I became aware that if you want change in the world, you got to become the change. And so I asked you for a title for your talk, and you chose Being the Change. And I think that's fantastic. So let's go back, dear Alireza, and tell our viewers a little bit about where you come from and just a little backstory about you.
Sure. Thank you. Well, hello everyone. It's great to be here. Well, I am born and raised in Iran, and I got my first degree. I will talk about my life story and what happened in my life. But I studied business uh, back in Iran. I got my first degree in business management. Then I moved out and I went to Malaysia, a very beautiful country. I lived there for almost 10 years, got my MBA there in marketing. Yeah, and then my doctorate degree in business, specializing in leadership behavior and work psychology. And I had lots of great challenges and uh, big transformation happened there gradually, I would say. And then in early 2017, late 2017, I came to Canada and I started my business. I continued my business basically here, and and I wrote three books, basically one book of mine, and I contributed to two other books as a co-author. And I am writing the fourth one that is also about leadership. I will tell you more about it basically. And in my journey, I learned about NLP, hypnosis, and everything about the mind, basically the science of the mind and change. And the word change is what fascinates me a lot. And I never get tired of talking about it. I have so much passion about it and I love it. And I always talk about it. And that's what I do these days.
That's what you do. You show people how to go through transformations of their own.
True.
And you yourself have gone through a lot of transformation. And I know that you said you were a shy person, and right. So I mean, you're not today, obviously. I mean, I'm looking at you, and what you do is amazing. First of all, you're not shy. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, if I go backwards from my childhood, I had a great childhood, basically. I mean, um, I had a supportive family and emotionally, mentally, in any ways, and great mom, great dad. And I had a brother with whom I wanted to fight all the time. And we were super naughty when we were together. We were two elements that standing alone, we were quiet. I had this shy and cute face and shy eyes and basically innocent eyes. But when I was with my brother, I was just another person. So it was crazy. So, anyways, everything.
May I say you're still cute?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the compliment. And everything was good. I went to school, but now as I look at it, I was a very shy person, a very shy student, and probably I was the student who would never talk. I was always afraid of talking, like going in front to talk to people, to my teacher. I have some echo. No, I don't know. It just started.
I don't hear an
I see.
echo.
It was the echo of my voice.
Let me see here. How about now? You can try now. You can
Still,
still hear
but
it.
it's okay.
Yeah. Can you
Yeah.
handle this? I'm going to ask our viewers to let us know if they can hear an echo, or if they can hear us
Perfect.
clear. Okay.
All right. And so the point was, my family was very, very supportive, and I would say they were too supportive. And I was kind of socially distant, and I was not feeling comfortable talking to people. Going to party was a nightmare for me. Dancing was absolutely a no for me, and I wasn't able even to do that. Even for me to go and buy something from a store was a difficult thing, because strangers were very strange to me and very scary to me. Anyways, things were good until I went to high school. In high school, I noticed that it's a serious problem. Well, I would say I had no confidence, and I was a super shy person. And in order to satisfy other people, I was going like extra mile all the time for other people, not for me, at the cost of suffering, basically. And it wasn't something that I liked, but I thought, well, this is life, and that's it, and I have nothing to do about it. And I was accepting these as facts. And basically, it was a very, very low self-image. Um, During the time I was getting ready to enter university, I had to study. And I would say I had to study because it was something that I was pushing myself all the time to push and push and push. There was no inner motivation, but external force from parents. Like, you have to do this, you have to do that. And anyways, I got the results and I had to choose my field. Um, so based on the result I got, I wasn't able to get into medical field, but I had the option of staying and studying for one more year to do that. And I was saying, no, I want to become a doctor or a dentist, and that's about it. It's like Iranian style, Iranian dream. And my dad is a physician, so he talked to me one day, and he said, Ali, if you want to do that, that's fine, but let me tell you certain things about it. And we had like an hour of conversation, and I was kind of persuaded and convinced that probably there would be other fields available for me and to me. So I chose this field of business management, and I talked to a few experts, and one of whom what was one of my dad's friends, who was a CEO of a very, very big textile company with over 6,000 employees. So he was a charismatic person with really leadership characteristics. And he sat with me and he talked about this field and the ability for me to do certain things. And in that very meeting, I fell in love with this field. And I said, Dad, I want to choose this. And I just remember this the moment I was writing it on the paper in the registration form to send it to university to get results. I told my dad, I said, if I get accepted, I'm going to go until PhD. And I will finish that because my dream was to become a doctor. So it doesn't matter what kind of doctor. I wanted to be a doctor. So it was an old dream. And that happened, basically. And that's how I entered university. And after that, a lot of transformation happened. A lot. Everything began from that point.
Wow, thank you. So it seems that when I mute myself, there's the echo's gone. So I wonder if you can kind of lower the volume of your speaker a little bit, just to see if that's going to help, because I don't want to mute you. Right. Okay. So I will unmute in a moment, but I want to take a moment. First of all, thank you so much for taking us back through, everything. I think our life experiences are what cause us to sit here today and be who we are. And it's wonderful when people are willing to share all the challenges. And I think that's how we learn from one another. And so thank you for that. And I want to go to the comments section and just say hello to the people who are viewing us. Thank you so much for being here, and to drop us a line if you want us to say hello. My friend Sarah J is here, and Deborah Sweezy. Deborah Sweezy has a show called Stroke TV, and she says, Incredible Stroke TV would love an introduction, please. So we will make the introduction later. And she says, great title, Doc. And Babak Pedram is here, our loyal viewer every single time. Hello, Dela, and welcome, Dr. Alireza. Thank you so much. And Farida's here. And okay, all right, good. Oh, Jack is here too. And thank you very much for letting me know about the echo, everyone. So Deborah says, my only regret in life is not going to medical school. Isn't that interesting?
It is. I understand, but that's okay because we have lots and lots of ways. We have choices in life, and there is not just one option available for everybody. There are lots of options through which we can actually get the kind of life that we want, and I'm confident about that. I'll talk about it actually along the way.
Well, let's continue then. Go ahead.
Sure. So university was a big platform for me to change, a big transformation, because for the very first time, I had to go to another city, kind of far from family. Well, to me, it was far from family, even though it was like a 3-hour drive. And I went to university to start a new life. Every week I was going back home because I was getting homesick, basically, and I wanted to be back at home. And I had also a santur teacher. Santur is an instrument, musical instrument we use. We play in Iran. It's a traditional musical instrument. And so because of that, I was going back and forth. So I started learning to become independent, to be standing on my own feet. And first year was okay, beautiful. I met friends. But from the second year, challenges came in, and I saw challenges and I faced them. And to some extent, I was able to overcome them. So one of the things that happened basically at the end of year one was reading two books. That was introduced. That these two books were introduced by that great friend of my dad. So he told me, one night he was in my house, and he gave me some advice. He said, Ali, if you have decided to study this, you can become a great manager. But no matter what you do in the future in your business, because it's either your business or you're going to work in a company as a manager, so in any kind of position, he said, remember this. First, enhance your knowledge, not just the knowledge that the university gives you, but be the best in your own field. That's number one. And number two, study English, practice it, and make it better. And that's what I would tell you. And from that meeting I had with this person, I got this English courses very seriously. So I went to English courses every week because I wanted to change and I wanted to be the best, or in other words, unique in my own way. And it was the first time I was coming out of the self-image, the low self-image that I had in my mind, basically. And I read two books. I still remember them. One book was called Every Street is Paved with Gold, and the author was Kim Woo-chung, who was the founder of Daewoo Group, Daewoo Holding. And the other one was another book from a Japanese author and businessman, Matsushita, Konosuke Matsushita, and the book was called The Path. Well, these two books made me fall in love with my life and business. And it was basically these two books were my first books, but I was always imagining, as I was reading, I was imagining myself being in a big company, being successful, making money, and creating value for people. And frankly speaking, these two books made me fall in love with books. And from that moment, I turned into a bookworm. Like I was like so into getting books and reading them, get another book, read them, basically in field of management. And then slowly I went into field of self-development. So I remember I was in year 2 of university, and we had this course, organizational behavior. We had a professor who was super charismatic and whose character I loved very much. And in day 1, as he introduced himself, he gave us the outline of what he's expecting from us. And one of those tasks that we had to do was public presentation, basically in class, 15-minute presentation. In that very moment, I panicked. And frankly speaking, I blacked out. I said to myself, okay, I'm going to drop this course. I told my friend I'm not in, because he said, this is a must. If you don't do it, you get 0 for the whole course. If you do it, 15% of your mark is going to be like out of this presentation. But of course, I didn't want to do it. So I attempted to drop the course, but it wasn't possible because this was the only professor who was teaching this course in my field. So I had to do it, and this was a prerequisite for other courses. So one day I went to his office, like the next day, I went to his office and I literally begged him. I said, "Sir, I would do anything, any kind of assignment, even three or four extra assignments, just as a replacement and substitute. Please do not make me do this because I can't do it." He was a very professional person and very kind, and his words changed me. He sat with me very patiently. He asked my first name, and I said Alireza, or Ali. Then he said, "Ali, let me tell you something." He said, "You're studying business management. You're supposed to be a manager. And since day one that you entered university, you are a management in progress. So you're creating this character. And in order for you to be a great example of a business manager, you need to be good at public speaking." He said, "Don't worry, I'm not going to change the assignment for you, but I'm going to help you." So for 10 more minutes, 15 more minutes, he talked to me, and it was kind of comforting. And he recommended one book from Dale Carnegie about public speaking. He said, "Go and read that book." I got that book, and by that time, I was in love with books. So quickly, I grabbed it from the bookstore, and I went home, and I started reading. Chapter 1 was all about people transformation, fear and overcoming fear, courage to overcome it. And I was picturing myself delivering like big presentations to a big group of audiences. And I was feeling good. So this was basically the first time I was doing something mental as I was reading. And it was a good transformation for me and inspiration for me. And after a month of preparation, reading and studying and practicing in front of a mirror almost every day, I did the presentation. Still, at the very beginning, I panicked. I almost blacked out for the first 30 or 40 minutes, for the 30 or 40 seconds. But gradually, I paced with that. It was okay. It was okay for me to present. I wasn't so satisfied with the presentation, but I was so happy that I did something that I thought I would never do in my entire life. And that was basically a tipping point for me in my life and turning point. And in the following semester, I volunteered for 2 presentations and another presentation and another presentation until I finished my degree. So probably the biggest event for me in university was that first public speaking in class. And from that moment, everything changed.
Wow, great story. You know what? You were so young then, and I'm so impressed that that's when you had your awakening. Basically, you had to kind of get over that fear. For me, this happened about 6 or 7 years ago when someone asked me to do a presentation in front of a group of 100 people, and I panicked. You know what I did? Obviously, the next obvious thing, I signed up for Toastmasters.
Amazing.
But I totally get it. I think a lot of people get it. What is that? Is that the fear number 2 next to dying is public speaking? Is that what
Well, someone
say?
said if the fear of death is number 2 and fear of public speaking is number 1. Seriously.
Actually.
Yeah, I don't remember the quote, but this is the message. This is the
It's crazy. Jack says the study of people is incredible. And he says running a business is great, but managing people is difficult. He says it's like herding cats. Now, Jack, Deborah says, I would have had a panic attack too. Now look at us. And you know what? It's so true. Look at what you're doing, all the time. I mean, you're in front of people all the time. And so getting over that initial fear, oh, wow, like it's such a big discovery. So what happened once you went through that hurdle in your life?
I mean, the public speaking problem? Well, what I figured out, well, before I do it, I was thinking that it's a huge monster. And frankly speaking, I was willing to do anything to avoid it. But it wasn't possible. And I'm very happy and I'm so grateful that it wasn't possible. And I'm so grateful to that teacher, to that professor, that who gave me this opportunity to do it and took me out of my comfort zone. Otherwise, God knows where I was supposed to be, where I was today. And he changed my life. There were other people who changed my life. In my uh, high school, I had a group of teachers that had profound effect on my attitude, perception, characteristics, personality, behavior. And I'm so grateful for having all of them in my life. And it is interesting. Few weeks ago, I was thinking about it, and I said, it's interesting that I was into many courses and many classes every day as I was in high school. And I remember having many teachers. But what I remember from teachers were not technical terms in maths, in physics, in literature, but the life lessons that they gave us, their characteristics. Because I focus on behavior and characteristics. Now, as I flash back into the past, I just noticed that these teachers have profound effects on our attitudes, personality, because as students look at teachers as role models. So it technical terms might be remembered and after some time forgotten, but if something clicks in our heart, basically it will stay with us for a long time. And these people basically change our characters. And that was actually something that I learned um, from my high school time. And as I still teach in college. I used to teach in university for 7 years when I was in Malaysia. So I always remember, I said, I need to be a role model. I need people will see my patience. I was teaching leadership, but basically terms and definitions are one thing, but my character, my behavior, my patience, my flexibility, my passion to teach is something really different. And students remember that. And it's interesting, I started teaching in year 2009, and I am still connected to my students in Facebook and on Instagram. Still, we say hi to each other after 11 or 12 years. And this is crazy. And I love this concept as well.
Alireza, I've heard before someone say that people don't necessarily remember what you say to them. They remember how you make them feel. So I think that by what you said is exactly that, sometimes it's not what we say, it's when you share your experiences, your life wisdom, what you've gone through, it allows people to feel that they're not alone. And so that kind of creates a sense of compassion. I don't want to say sympathy, more empathy and connection. And that's why you stay connected to your students, is because you made a connection, not just contacts. Connections are really, really important. Bobak says, let me see. For the first time, I was asked to talk to 700 people in church. There were some chairs, and I had to sit for about 10 minutes till they called me. During this 10 minutes, I overcame my fear and delivered my message very well. I was surprised. I surprised myself, but I think that those 10 minutes sitting in front of audience was a big help.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Great job. Great job, Bobak. Great job. Well, this is true. One of my trainers taught me this. He said, if you're invited for any kind of presentation, if possible, go at least 1 hour in advance, 1 hour earlier. Why? Because we need to look at the ambience. We need to feel comfortable, get the get the environment, get the feeling of other people, the kind of talks that are ongoing before we deliver the speech and everything. So it's a good thing, and it's really soothing, because if we just rush into the meeting and 2 minutes later they ask us to go up there and start the presentation, we may not feel calm and comfortable and confident. But that way we can connect better, we can understand everything, we feel comfortable, we are in control, and speech will be much better, more effective, more beautiful, more attractive.
Sorry, it takes me a moment to unmute myself. So, Alireza, what was, when you look back at your life and you've come so far, and I mean, I'm looking at all those certificates right behind you. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's worked so hard to be here where he is today. And a lot of us, and perhaps Debbie too, you know, you look back at your life and you say, I wish I had done this. Like Debbie says, my only regret in life is not going to medical school. You know, I feel bad when I hear the word regret. I mean, Debbie's such a fantastic person, and she's so incredible, and she's doing amazing things right now with her show and the people which she's impacting. I don't know. Can we stop there for a second and just look at that and see what you can offer?
Absolutely. Well, we see many people who have regrets for what they have done or what they have not done. They haven't done. The point, basically, I know, I do understand this, and I know because I was in similar situations that I regretted my past decisions. But the fact in life is, at any point of time, what we do and what we decide basically is based on the resources that we have at that moment. So we want to make best decisions and best choices to move forward. But now when we go to the future and we look back and we say, oh, I wish I had done that differently or this differently. But the point is, it doesn't matter, basically. You wanted to be a doctor probably because you wanted to have prestige, I don't know, status, or you wanted to help people. You wanted to contribute to the wellness of people. Well, or no matter what your purpose was, you can serve the same purpose in your new business, in this business, basically. And maybe you are in this business because, and you do what you're doing right now, and you can actually help other people in your own way. The whole purpose of life is to grow and contribute, to connect to people and contribute to people's well-being, knowledge, or at least when our time is over, when we look back, we say, you know what? I am happy because I did something positive. I did something positive for people, for a community, for one person, for thousands of people, for a million people. It doesn't matter how many people we help. The important thing is to help. And I really love this idea, and I always say this because to me it's the most important thing. It's a very short story I just want to share. There was a rabbit jumping up and down and running through a jungle at a dark night, and as she was going through trees and everything, she noticed there was a sparkling light somewhere between these trees. And so she went, she slowed down, and she went closer and closer and closer, and she jumped and grasped that light. So the light was in her hand, and the light was shouting, "Let me out, let me out." So the rabbit opened her hands, and that light thing, it came out, and the rabbit asked, "What are you?" The light said, "I'm a firefly." "Firefly? What is that?" He said, "I'm an insect, and I'm called a firefly." He said, "Oh, you're shining. So what do you do?" They said, "I am making this jungle bright." And the rabbit laughed a lot and she said, "Oh, are you crazy? You with this tiny tiny dimensions are just you just want to make this big, huge jungle bright. This is impossible. The firefly said, yes, I know, but I am doing my best with the best of my abilities. If every single creature was doing what I'm doing to the best of their ability, the whole jungle was as bright as a day. So that's the whole point. It's helping.
You make my heart sing. It's so beautiful. And I totally agree with you. I think every single one of us has the power to impact the world. But, we stop ourselves because we don't believe that we are enough, that we can do anything. I mean, this show started on this premise, Alireza. It started because I thought, if we can just impact one person, and you just proved that to me, that I'm doing everything I can with the abilities that I have in the moment, with the knowledge that I have, and we can all do that. Woo, so good. Debbie says, I just always felt my hands were tied as a nurse. She was a nurse. And she actually had a heart attack. If I remember her story correctly, and then a stroke. So she had a stroke, not a heart attack. She had a stroke, and she retired. And now through Stroke TV Foundation, what they do, her and her partner, they bring light to the lives of those who have had stroke, and they've managed to come through the struggle and still continue quality of life. And what they do is just amazing, amazing, amazing. Debbie, you're an amazing person. Okay, so she says, I thought it would give me an opportunity to help more, but I'm doing that today. So she is doing that today. And she also says, thank you, Doc. God bless you. And share your own gift. Abbas is here. He says, hi, Alireza and Dela. Thank you for such an amazing topic. I'm so glad to accidentally see your link and click on the link of the story of your life journey. I'm so glad you did too. Welcome. Okay, so we're just going to take a moment and take a break and give people a chance to breathe and take in everything we just spoke about. And we'll be right back. So I'm going to ask our viewers to please share this talk with other people if you found it helpful, and let this inspiration spread like wildfire. We'll be right back. Welcome to Flowers and Things Flower and Gift Shop, serving Newmarket, Ontario and area for over 18 years. Flowers and Things Flower and Gift Shop is here to make your flower sending experience a pleasure. Please visit us online at www.flowersandthingsflowerandgiftshop.com or call us at 905-830-0024. Flowers and Things Flower and Gift Shop. We thrive on your satisfaction. And we're back with Alireza Sharifi, Dr. Alireza Sharifi, on being the change. And, this idea of being the change is huge. It's huge. I don't know, how many people do you know that when you talk to them, everything is other people's fault? Everything is, it's, if only this person did that. Yeah, what were you going to say,
Alex? That's very deep. That's a very deep concept, and I totally understand this, and I connect with it. I will tell you my viewpoint. Of course, I agree with that about being changed. just let me tell you a little bit about my time after I came out of Iran. So I went to Malaysia in year 2006, and I had to be more independent than before. So I started everything, and it was a very, very motivating and turning point for me, because I started my MBA in marketing, basically in Malaysia. And I was so decisive that I wanted to get it done with best results. And I was so motivated to get more knowledge of it. So every single day I was going to library, studying and studying and reading and reading. I was reading every reference that were recommended for us, and every single one of them that was recommended. And all day, my friends could find me in the library. So for 2 to 3 years, I was just bombarded with tons of textbooks, articles, and other books that were about personal change, about psychology, and I liked it. So because of that, I chose my doctorate degree because I wanted to change myself and change the world and change everything. I wasn't sure what I want to do specifically, but I knew I want to do something that changes people, organizations, individuals, whatsoever, something aligned with that. So I was thinking of becoming a consultant, management consultant, and helping others. And then I was aspired to be a trainer, basically, to train people. And that was something that I found so much passion within me. And I said, okay, this is the field that I want. Until year 2012. In September 2012, I attended a train the trainer course. And as I was going along, people and my group members, my classmates, were talking about NLP. They said, do NLP. Oh, you haven't done it? You have so much passion for it. Just go for it. I got some basic information. I read a few books, and I decided to do it. NLP, timeline therapy, hypnosis, and everything. And that was my huge transformation point. I did my first NLP and I learned a lot. And one of the things was, in order for me to change things around me, I need to change something within. And that was one of the biggest lessons. And number two was, I am in control of my mind. I learned techniques to control this, because whoever controls this can control emotion. And when you control emotion, you can control everything around you. That's the whole point of it. So I learned that, and there was a big event that came. I just want to share this with people, if that's okay. It's a short story, but it shows the power of beliefs. When I was in last day of my 10-day practitioner program in NLP and timeline therapy. So I got graduated, and we had the certificates, and we were so happy. And I asked about the master's degree. I wanted to get into the trainer's level, and so that I can train other people. So I asked my trainers, and I said, okay, how much is it? Then they told me, after talking to them, they said, for the whole package, it's 24,000 Malaysian ringgit. It's their currency, Malaysian ringgit. 24,000 Malaysian ringgit. My salary for every month as a head of program in university, I was getting also extra allowances and everything, was 4,500. 4,500. That's it. So now I had to live. I had to cover the cost. I had to cover everything. But initially, in the month of November, I pictured everything about what I want to do. It was year 2014, November 2014. And I had my dream and goal, basically, of what I want to become by late 2021, that we are so close to it. So it was a 6-year plan, but it was a very profound, detailed plan with everything that I pictured there. And I told my trainer, I said, oh my God, it's a huge amount of money. My salary is just 4,500. I have no saving. How can I get 24,000 by month of June? My trainer came to me, looked at me, and said, Ali, let me tell you something. You are already a graduate of NLP, so you know you're in charge of your mind. You know the power of beliefs. I don't have to tell you. And I'm not telling you to do this or not to do it. But I want you to understand this. If you believe, you become. When you believe, you become. When you believe, everything will fall into place. And I said, okay, something happened in me. I don't know what, but something clicked in my mind. And I said, you know what? I'm in. I am committed to making it. And I know it's gonna happen. Even though logically it wasn't possible. The next 6 months was super amazing. And I don't want to get into details because every time we are in class, I get goosebumps when I explain it. But a month after that, I got email from a lawyer that I can go to Canada. Few weeks later, I got 2,000 USD, 2,000 USD out of expectations. When I was in Canada, I was able to save some money, and I get 2.5 months of bonus. And I was the only one in the whole big university that I was teaching who got that amount of money. So everything was falling into place, and I was having this money coming and coming, and I was having a little bit of saving of 500 ringgit every month until 1 week before the beginning of my class. So in my bank account, I saved by that time 23,000 thousand ringgit, and I was short of 1,000 ringgit. So one day, the dean of the faculty came to my office. He said, Ali, I want to talk to you. Come to my office. So I went to his office, and he said, the vice chancellor wants to talk to you. You teach leadership and you study leadership. He needs your help. I said, yeah, sure. I will go. I went to his office, to the vice chancellor's office, and he said to me, he said, tomorrow morning I have two commitments, one training and one presentation, one talk, and I can't attend both. And would you please be kind and cover the first half day for me? I said, I will do that, sir. What do you want me to talk about? He said, leadership. I said, okay, that's my topic. I got some information. I went home, I prepared, and next day I went and gave this presentation, and I ran this training for half a day until noon, and then I came back to the university. Next week, in the following week, class was supposed to start on Thursday morning. So on Monday evening, I was driving home and my phone rang. I picked up the phone and it was from the university. They said, the vice chancellor wants to give you a message or something like that. I don't remember exactly. If you have time, just come to the office tomorrow. And I said, sure. Next day, I went to the office. So it was Tuesday and my class was supposed to start on Wednesday. So the secretary opened a drawer and gave me an envelope, written my name. And I opened it. There was a thank you letter. And he said, thank you, Alireza, for everything that you did. I really appreciate it. And there was a check with the amount of 1,000 Malaysian ringgit. I burst into tears. Seriously, I burst into tears. And I told myself, and from that moment, I understood that when we believe, we become. That is absolutely true for any situation. Everything will fall into place. That was my biggest gift of believing in something that I thought it would be not possible. It would not be possible, but it became possible. Possibility or not possibility depends on us. Henry Ford says, if you believe you can, or if you believe you cannot, you're both right. You're both right. And that was one of the biggest turning points for me about change and belief, the power of beliefs.
What an experience, right? What a story. And I mean, as you're telling it, I'm like, oh, he's gonna get a check. He's gonna get a check.
I got it. Yes, I got it.
Oh man, it's beautiful. Everybody loves this story, and Rizwan says, yeah, love it. Not to worry about how, but focus on the why.
Exactly.
Great. And our friend Robert Brooker's here. Hi, nice to see you. And Debbie says, goosebumps. Yeah, I know.
Me too.
It's great. It's great. And this is one of those stories, and you said it too, and you say it so well. You tell the story so well, but you say every time you talk about it, you still get those goosebumps.
Every time. Every
Amazing,
time.
amazing. Someone's asking, what's your purpose going forward?
My purpose is to help. My purpose is to help people transform and change. Um, so my slogan in my company is empowering you to change, because I and I would never ever say changing you. I would say empowering you to change, because we individuals, all of us, have all the resources that we need to change, and we need to succeed or to achieve whatever outcome we want or we desire. Uh, but the point is, sometimes we don't know what to do. Sometimes we don't understand that we do have the power, or we may know, but we don't know what to do. So there are certain ways, and my my dream is, and my mission basically, is to inspire people to transform their lives to be the best version of themselves. And I do that with so much of passion. um, I don't know how much of passion, but passion is a must, and I think I have it. And the good thing about passion is, when you have it, you don't have to push yourself. You're just pulled toward doing it. I never get tired. Sometimes my friends tell me, you wake up at 6, you go, you do your workout by 8 or 9, and then you go to work, you finish everything at 9 p.m., from 9 to 9, and then even in weekends you run classes. How do you do that? I said, I don't do it. This one does. This one does. When we have passion, everything is like so easy.
I love it. And you know what? You have this great energy that just seeps through, even like, even on here, like this, through this computer, I can see your passion come through. I love it, love it, love it.
Thank you.
I'm so happy you're doing what you're doing. Alireza, what is your definition of success?
Oh, that's a tricky question. Well, success is achievement plus fulfillment, plus satisfaction, I mean. Not just achievement. Many people are achievers, but they're not successful. We are not successful if we are suffering and we achieve. We are successful when we achieve and we enjoy. I mean, the quality of emotions that we experience is very important, determines the quality of life. Basically, this is what Tony Robbins says. He says the quality of your life is the quality of the emotions that you experience on a constant basis. So to me, emotions are everything. If we are happy and we achieve what we set, we are successful. That's my definition of success.
I love it. So achievement, fulfillment, satisfaction.
Yeah.
Those are all great. If you could look back at your life, Alireza, and pick one single one, I mean, you have so many, one single thing, and say, this is what I am the most proud of.
Mm-hmm. Okay. It's not a single event, but I would say, if I want to choose one attribute that I love about myself, is my openness to learn, my learnability. I love it. To me, I believe everything and everyone and every event in life can teach me something. And ears are always open, eyes are always wide open to get signals and learnings. If it's tragedy, if it's negative experience, positive experience, a small kid, even we can learn from small kids. We can learn from professors. We don't learn in university. We learn in life. Life is the biggest school, is the biggest university. If you look at it this way, everything is like amazing, and we can actually grow every single day. I would say that's how I would answer your question. I would say learnability, and if we develop it, we keep growing no matter what and no matter where we are.
I love that. To me, a successful day, a day worth living, has a few characteristics, and one of them is if I learn something that day, that makes it a good day. Learnability. I love that word, first of all. I don't think I've ever heard learnability before. I love it. And so, what do you need to develop in order to be more learnable?
We need to believe that we are in charge. We are responsible, basically, for any kind of change. And we should want it. Commitment, I would say. Commitment is key. Being committed is different from being interested. Many people are interested in money, in fame, in success, in any kind of achievement, or in winning gold medals in Olympics. Many people are interested in that, in those things, but few people are committed to do it. So in order for us to be successful or to be learnable, we need to be committed to changing our life and improving ourselves all the time. That's the whole point. That's what I would say about it.
Thank you. We are almost out of time. I do want to give you a couple of more minutes to leave us with whatever you like. Also, letting people know how they can get in touch with you, how they can find you, how they can find your books. And if anyone's interested to work with you, please direct them to the right place. I have your website here. I'm going to right here display that, dralirezasharifi.com, and your Facebook ID is Alireza Sharifi. Okay, I'm going to have the display going here on your website. Go ahead.
All right, so to finish everything, I want to share a short story, another very short story. When I finished my master's, my NLP master practitioner and timeline therapy and hypnotherapy master practitioner, I was able to detect feelings from other people and energies, basically. And it was a good thing, but there was a drawback as well, because if someone's energy was low, I was feeling very low. And it was like the person is just draining the whole energy out of my body. So I went back to my teachers, and I shared this problem with them. And I remember I was in their office, and the woman, her name was Najwa, she turned toward me and she said, Ali, who's in charge? When I shared the problem, I said, I am. He said, no. Who's in charge? I said, I am. Who's in charge of your mind? I am. She asked this question more than 15 times. I didn't count, but probably around 20 times. And every time she was telling me, no, you're not listening. Who's in charge of your mind? And as I was answering, I was like getting angry, and I said, I am. And in one moment, I said, now I understood. I'm in charge. I'm in charge of my feelings. I'm in charge of my thoughts. I'm in charge of whatever is happening around me, for me. And that moment was another breakthrough that I had. So this is my message for everybody here. We are in charge. Let's take responsibility for what has happened and be responsible for what's coming. And let's design that and let's make it happen. So as Mahatma Gandhi says, be the change you want to see in the world. Being the change.
I love it. Thank you so much. So wonderful. You
My
are
pleasure.
so wonderful. I really, really appreciate having you here. I hope that you come back, Alireza, because you have so much gold to offer. And I am so blessed to have met you, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Oh, one word about your books. Where can people find your books?
They are available on Amazon.
Okay.
Leadership in Dynamic Organizations, Healing, and Canadian Success. Basically, if they search Alireza Sharifi, they can find it in Amazon.
Awesome. And if you can't find it, reach out to Alireza on his website or on Facebook, or send me a message and I'll connect you. Again, thank you very much. And everyone else who was here today, I want to thank you for this amazing interaction that we had today. As always, you are awesome with your comments, with your experiences. I so am blessed to have viewership like this. And together we can be the change that we want to see in the world. Everybody's thanking you in the comments, and so do I. Until another opportunity, another Sunday, another Dela's Voice. As always, this was Dela's Voice, sparking your soul. Have a blessed day. Thank you again, Alireza.
Thank you, Dela, and everybody.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.